Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to put up a mosquito net in my room because 2 nights ago I heard a mosquito in my room and it woke me up and I couldn't go back to sleep. So this is kind of just to show you that in Korea, mosquitoes are a big problem. And especially now I live next to Han River, if we leave the door open for 1 second, we're infested with them. So I bought this thing off Coupang. Coupang is like the Amazon of Korea. I bought some little sticky hooks from Daiso for 1,000 won. I'm going to try and build this here. The mosquito net cost 16,000 won, which is about £10. But in all honesty, I would give all my money for the mosquito net because I hate mosquitoes, they ruin my life. Yankee it across. Oh shit. Shit. Oh. This is Pirate Dan's mosquito net review from Coupang, Korean website. So far so good. The third one I couldn't attach to the ceiling because I don't have any string, so I've got 3 sides attached. And one side is kind of just, it's by my foot there. The other one's attached nicely. One to the window so I can open it. Another one here above my head. And another one locked in over there. Hopefully I don't get bitten by any mosquitoes. I'm gonna go to sleep now, wake up and tell you how I learned Korean, and then also I'll see if I got bitten by the mosquitoes. Oh, good morning. The mosquito net was a success. I don't have any bites on my bodies. The only one criticism I have of the net is it's difficult to get out of. Last night I got out to pee and I had to kind of crawl around under the net and I felt like a fish. You know when you throw a net in the water and you catch a fish and it's just wriggling around? That's kind of what I looked like at 2 in the morning when I got up to do a pee. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is get a coffee. That's what I do every morning. Then for the video, instead of just me talking to the camera in my house, we're going to go to different places around Seoul and do a step-by-step guide of how I learned Korean. So step 1, I'll tell you down at the Han River, and then step 2, we'll go to another cool place in Seoul city centre, and then later in the video, I'm going to tell you what Korean people eat when the weather gets warmer. Welcome to the Han River. The skyline here behind me is Yeouido. Looks pretty cool on the night. And that's on an island, and that's the business district of Seoul. This red bridge here on my right takes you to the island. Now, step 1 of how I learned Korean, the best way, in my opinion, is to just copy writing. So I went to a website that had lots of Korean writing on. I put some music in my headphones, bop, 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 listen to the music and just copy the writing onto the piece of paper. And I had paragraphs, lines upon lines of the writing, just to familiarize myself with each letter. Then I'd repeat the words and read it slowly until I felt confident in what the words were. And like now, when I look at signs, I can instantly read the word. So it helps a lot. The first thing you should do to familiarize yourself with the Korean alphabet is just copy writing. And you can do that from a website, a newspaper, YouTube comments, anywhere you want. Step 1, copy the writing. It's like doing handwriting. It's like doing lines when you're in detention at school. I was in detention all the time at school, so I'm used to writing lines. Come with me for a stroll down the Han River. I want to tell you 2 things. The first one, I work my butt off trying to grow my YouTube channel. So if you like my channel and you like this video, click the like button. Just go down, click like, and I'll really appreciate it. And the second thing is, on May the 3rd, I'm going to be cycling with my mates to Busan for a children's charity called the Eastern Social Welfare Society. I'm going to be doing it on this bicycle, so that's why I'm riding it around Seoul today to get a bit of practice. So if you want to be updated with the charity, there'll be a video here. And if you want to watch the videos of the bike trip, they'll be uploaded towards the end of May. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and you've got the bell turned on. Now, let's stop walking in the wrong direction and head to the center of Seoul, where I'll tell you step 2. And remember boys, always wear a helmet on your helmet, if you know what I mean. For step 2, I've come to Donwimun Museum Village. Donwimun was one of the 8 gates that protected Seoul, and it's not in existence. There's only 6 remaining, 2 have been demolished or burnt to the ground. Now, step 2 of how to learn Korean. What I did, I joined the Yonsei Online University course. It's a 5-week course and it's absolutely free. And I actually did that twice and I found it very helpful. It goes through the basics. Hello, how are you? My name is. How old are you? Where you work? Just the very basics so you can get any conversation started. And there'll be a link to that course in the description of the video, and anything else in the video that I talk about that's going to help you learn Korean, that will also be in the description. It's nice and peaceful in here, like it's in the very city centre, but you can't hear any of the traffic. So I'm going to tell you step 3 whilst I'm still here. Number 3 is download Duolingo and also HelloTalk. The Duolingo app normally gets a lot of complaints because, like, if I remember trying to learn French and it's like the apple is red, the horse has an umbrella, like it's kind of useless. But with Korean it's good because it's just that repetition and getting familiar with the words, and maybe you'll learn some new vocabulary on there. So maybe in Korean with Duolingo you can say the horse ate an apple. And then the second app to download is HelloTalk. It doesn't matter if you're in England, you can speak to people in Korea, because that's how the internet works, and they can send you translations. So if you send them a Korean sentence, hello, my name is Dan, I am having a lovely day, they can fix any mistakes for you and send it back, and then you can read it. It's like in red and green and it shows you your errors, so it's really good. So if somebody sends you a message, you understand a few words but you can't kind of understand the complete sentence, there's a button where you can select the word and it translates it for you. So that's very good. Do a bit of Duolingo and then get on HelloTalk, send some people some messages along the World Wide Web, and you're going to learn some new things both ways. I'm going to get on my bicycle now, cycle closer to the city centre and have some lunch and show you what Koreans eat when the weather gets a lot warmer. And that's something called naengmyeon, and it's very delicious. 안녕하세요. naengmyeon 있어요? She's brought us over some kimchi with tanmuji. This is the yellow radish and you get this in most places. And then again, always on the side you've got the chopsticks and the spoons. And she also brought some sauce over, ganggyeongja. Can you read that? It says ganggyeongja. Oh, it's mustard. It says it in English. What an idiot. And then this one, maybe vinegar? I don't know. Let's give the kimchi a little taste before the naengmyeon comes. 4 out of 5. 감사합니다. 이모, 김치 조금 더 주세요. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Here we have some mul naengmyeon. Mul means water, naeng means cold, and myeon means noodles. And it's very popular to eat when the weather gets warm because it cools you down. Bless you. Some noodles, could be buckwheat, not quite sure. But they're very, very, very chewy. These noodles are known for being extremely chewy. We've got some sesame seeds, some thinly sliced cucumber, half a boiled egg, lots of ice, and some soup. And the soup has a very unique flavour. Now, in here, I'm going to put a bit of mustard. Like whack it like that. That'll do. A little bit like that. Put a little bit of this in. I think it's vinegar. Now let's put it in our mouths and see what it tastes like. I'm instantly cooled down. It's really refreshing soup. Do you remember I said the noodles are very chewy? That's why she's giving me some skizzers to chop it up. The Korean word for skizzers is gawi. Gawi, bawi, bo. This thinly sliced white vegetable is radish. If you come to Korea in the summer or the spring when the weather's hot and you want to cool down, ask for some mul naengmyeon. Oh yeah, it tastes a lot better when you put a bit of vinegar, a bit of mustard, chop the noodles up and mix it together, then it tastes really good. 계산해주세요. 네. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. 잘 먹었습니다. I've now come to the Hwanggudan altar where Emperor Gojong performed sacrifices to heaven. And this is right in front of the city hall. Okay, now step 4 is practice what you've already learned. You've been reading and writing, you've been texting your mates online. Now actually try speaking it. And there's different ways you can do that. You can FaceTime your friends if they're Korean. If you're in Korea, you can go to a language exchange. That's one thing I found very useful, was going to language exchange cafes. Or if you're in your home city and you can't do any of those, go on Facebook or go to the university and see if there's any Koreans in your local area that would be interested in doing language exchange. When I lived in Brisbane in Australia, I went to the Korean store to buy kimchi and ramen, and I met a guy there called David, and he spoke a bit of English, and so I became friends with him. I invited him over to my house for dinner. We went for walks around the city together, and I'd started like that. Made a friend and did some language exchange with him. So there's always ways. If you want to learn Korean, you will find a way to learn. If you recognize that sound, that's the sound of the underground. I've come down to the subway because I've got to take a train to work. And if you want to see an awesome video made on the subway, there'll be a link to it here. Oh, my train's here. Fuck. But the final step is you have to come to South Korea because that's the best way that you're going to learn Korean. I have learned so much from being here. Even if you don't study as much, the fact that you're just surrounded by the culture and the language really helps out. And you don't want to go to a restaurant and not be able to order food or ask to pay for something or be polite to people. So it's going to want to make you learn even more if you actually come and live in South Korea. And it makes it a lot easier to navigate the subway and you won't get lost if you speak a bit of the language. And there we have it. Those are my 5 easy steps that I followed to get to the level of Korean that I can speak today. In the comment section, if you're currently learning Korean, I want to know what you're doing, what websites you're doing, and then other people can go in the comments where you can kind of see what everybody else is doing and help each other out. If you want to comment on this video in Korean, I will also reply in Korean, and that way we can help each other as well. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful, click the like button, it'll really help me out. And if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, click the red button and turn on the bell. And if you have the bell turned on, you'll be notified of the cycling videos that I upload at the end of May, because me and all my friends are cycling right now 611 kilometers from Seoul to Busan. And you can see more videos every Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 7 PM UK time. Yosh. 조심해 난 해적다 나는 굳이 like 북한산 나와 머리 없어 빛나리 우는 쌍둥이 얘는 조던이지 김치 감자탕에서 있다